I guess the main theme of the exhibition, under the title Holding Pattern, Warteschleife, we're looking at not just the literal situation of being in an aeroplane while it is looping, but we also take this as a metaphor for our condition in modernity, that we exist within patterns that we can see, we can partially see them, but we cannot fully understand them.
I've known Tom for many years and I've been following his work. His writing has always been very fascinating to me. The Making of Incarnation book, which reads a little bit like a sort of mirror cabinet of parallel stories, investigating themes around information, control, data gathering, and bodies in motion. And it's almost a piece of choreography in itself. And that was the starting point for me inviting him to make an exhibition together.
We didn't want to find art that simply illustrated an idea. It's more interesting than that. I mean, we were lucky enough to work with some of the most brilliant artists working today or working in the last decades, and their work does things that my books do not do. I mean, they go much further in many ways. They're operating on different frequencies, so it's been an enormous privilege for me. I feel this work has really détourned and unlocked whatever's going on in my books. So when Tegel Airport was decommissioned, there was a music art festival organized with Laurie Anderson, Blixa Bargeld, and some others, including Susan Phillips. And Susan Phillips's piece consisted of her being flown in a very small aeroplane above Tegel Airport in a literal holding pattern. She hummed over a radio headphone Brian Eno's Music for Airports to the Strasbourg control tower, where it was recorded and then transmitted into the half-ruined airport. So it's a very comic piece, but it's also melancholic. I would say it's Berlin's most newest Denkmal, memorial. It's not made out of stone, it's made out of image and sound, but it's a memorial for an airspace in the sense of air as what you fly through, Luft, air, but also media air, radio frequency airspace, and also in the operatic sense, it's an aria, it's a requiem for a history that has disappeared. Harun Farocki's Deep Play takes the World Cup final in 2006, and it unpacks not just the action of the game, but all the various systems of mediation and analysis and security and data extrapolation around this game. You also get the audio feed of the TV controller who's moving between channels. He's saying, now go to Claudia Schiffer, now President Clinton, now Zinedine Zidane. He's like an air traffic controller controlling this kind of event. And then you get the police security audio and video where the police chief is saying, go to row 7, arrest that man. Go to row 27, arrest that man. So you get the aristocratic and the more proletarian ends of the spectrum, but it's a whole choreography of social and spectacular control.
Del Piero foul. Makaleli, pass direct free kick, will toward, take lost ball, stop.
Elizabeth Price's work, Slow Dance, is the most complex piece in the exhibition. She has spent a lot of time in archives of mines in the north of England. Interestingly, the mining, the coal seam that is in Dortmund and disappears under the ground after Dortmund, goes under the ocean or the sea and then comes up in the north of England. It's the same continuous coal seam. Elizabeth has also researched the history of women's fabrics and textiles. She has woven these together into this speculative, almost science fiction story about underground cults that meet in abandoned mines, and through secret patterns in their vocal cords, but also in the fabric of clothes that they produce, transmit secret coded histories of people in the same network, and they're called teachers. Her piece is so complicated that it needs footnotes, and the footnotes are themselves works of art, which are also very complicated. But the footnotes, each of which are very short, they beautifully focus on one aspect of the work. Orca Hodel's Über is the only analog piece in the show. Orca Hodel, who died in 2010, was a Swedish pilot and poet. And as a pilot, he was very unsuccessful. He trained as a fighter pilot and he crashed on his first flight. But after this, he became a poet and an anarchist, anti-militarist, and he lived near the palace, the royal palace in Stockholm, so he could hear every day the changing of the guard, and the corporal shouts, present arms in Swedish, Über, and of course he shouts this in a very performative way, Über, and their soldiers march in a particular pattern and they change. And as an anarchist, he hated this, of course, but as a Fluxus poet, he loved it because it was a piece of found poetry. And so he decides to make a book of 64 pages just with those two words, Über. There's, I think, 55,000 E's and 66,000 R's. So in Stefan Panhan's and Andrea Winkler's work that we see behind me now, Free Roam, Achebor, they take the situation of Grand Theft Auto, this very violent video game, and they concentrate on the glitches, the bits where the code is not really good enough, and the players, the avatars, move in jerky, unnatural movements, and they have dancers reenact these movements. So you have humans imitating avatars that imitate humans, another kind of loop. And I think the question that really emerges from this work is, who is in control here? Is it the player? Is it the company? By extension, the question is, who is in control of technology and of the imaginary, if you like? Stan Douglas has taken particular cultural history of the legendary Columbia 30th Street studio in New York, where in the 60s, many important black artists like Aretha Franklin and Miles Davis recorded. And on top of that, it was a big cultural hub for Black Panthers and poets. It was an important kind of venue and meeting place, assembly place for kind of black culture and politics in New York. And Stan Douglas has reenacted a jam session, not a particular one, but an imaginary one, and he only recorded 1 hour, but he's edited it in a very clever way so that it's woven together, again, like an air traffic controller. He's collaged or assembled all the different moments into this very joined up, kind of fluent tableau where everything seems to be happening at once. So I think it's really a reflection on assemblages. Assemblage as a aesthetic strategy, but also a political strategy.
I think all the works in the exhibition come up with different suggestions, and we have interpreted all the works in a certain rhythm and in a certain way of looking at movement, looking at loops, looking at repetition, looking at this potential hidden power structures. So I think they all suggest rather than come up with any answers.
Also es gibt in der Ausstellung vielfältige Loops und einer der Loops ist sicherlich, dass teilweise Arbeiten oder auch Künstlerinnen und Künstler hierher zurückkehren. Tom hatte zum Beispiel die Arbeit von Stefan Panhans und Andrea Winkler das erste Mal hier in deren Einzelausstellung gesehen, 2021. Dann ist sie quasi Teil der Ausstellung Holding Pattern geworden in Oslo und kehrt jetzt zurück. Das ist eben auch super interessant, Arbeiten mehrfach zu sehen, aber dann in unterschiedlichen Kontexten.
My relation with HMKV goes back almost 20 years. I was involved in the exhibition Wach sind nur die Geister. I've always been a huge admirer of the program here. I think it's one of the great vanguard institutions in Europe.
I'm really impressed with HMKV in terms of the enthusiasm from the whole staff and the interests that everyone had in this project, and also the efficiency.